While January got off to a slow start, 2024 has seen a surge in camera sales, the best since 2019, with a big bump in July due to the release of a long-awaited camera, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. But will sales continue to top 2023, 2022, or even match 2019? But before we get to the details, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera coverage. This is the best sales chart I've seen since 2019, where we saw 8.5 million cameras sold and 14.2 million lenses sold. But a lot needs to happen for 2024 to top the sales charts. And the big question I have for you is, could the sales in 2024 actually match what we saw in 2019? Now, we do have to see an awful lot happening in the latter half of 2024, and we very much could, but I want to focus a little bit on the sales numbers for 2024 because, well, let's bring up that chart again. Look at them here. They look really good, other than January, which saw a bit of a dip. So let's go ahead and park 2019 aside for a little bit here, and let's just focus on what it would take to see 2024 beat 2022 and 2023. And I think there's a very good chance of that happening. The Canon EOS R5 Mark II sold very, very well in July, which is why we see July peaking so well. And sales are continuing into August. I've seen this from many retailers, so we expect August to do quite well, but I don't expect the R5 Mark II to, well, carry the camera industry all the way in December. That's not going to happen. We're going to see sales kind of peak off a little bit into August and September. For the camera market to be able to beat 2023, 2022, 2021, and even 2020 and get us close to tying or even coming anywhere close to 2019, what we need to see are some rather impressive new cameras being announced. Now, Canon has already stated that the R1 is going to start shipping November the 26th. So that will help pad November numbers, and it will also help pad 2020 numbers. That will help pad December numbers. I know what you're thinking. The R1 isn't going to draw a massive amount of sales, but it's not going to be that bad either. It's about 1/10 of what we see for the R5 Mark II, and that puts it right around the same sort of sales figures that we saw for the Nikon Z9 and the Nikon Z8, each individually. So I do expect it to give us a bit of a boost in November and December. But what else could we see? Well, we have 3 registered cameras from Canon. Now, one of those is going to be the R1, but we have 2 other cameras outstanding. One of those is a cinema camera, and the other one is Stills hybrid camera. Now, the R6 Mark III was supposed to be announced this fall, but according to Canon rumors, that's not happening until Q1. So could we see another camera, like an R7 Mark II? Well, perhaps. What about an R5C Mark II? Well, unlikely. That's probably going to happen sometime in 2025. So we are expecting another camera or 2 from Canon, but it's really hard to say what it's going to be, but I don't expect it's going to give us a huge boost in sales. So let's turn our attention to Nikon. Now, there's one camera from Nikon that we haven't heard much of, and that's the Nikon Z7 Mark III. We had the Z6 Mark III, which has essentially propelled that camera to best in class. And yes, I can see the look on Ryan's face already. There has been some talk about dynamic range, and the same thing with the R5 Mark II, but what we're talking about here is not a huge amount of difference. If you're going to pixel peep and that's your world, then yes, you'll notice a difference, but for most people, it's not huge. The Z6 Mark III is doing really, really well. The Z7 Mark III is a candidate, but there's other candidates too, such as the Z50, the Z30. A good solid camera from Nikon could help see sales there as well. But again, we're not expecting Nikon to carry the show. Now we turn our attention to Sony. Sony's bound to release something this year. We don't know what it's going to be. There has been talk about the A7 R5, the successor to the A7, or sorry, the A7 V, the successor to the A7 IV. There has been some talk about a refresh of the A7 R5 to the A7 R6, and of course there's the Alpha 1 Mark II. But all these high-end ones, all the rumors, at least what I hear from Andrea Pizzini at Sony Alpha Rumors and by the YouTube channel by the same name, is kind of poo-pooing the idea of getting a major camera announcement at the high end from Sony. Now, the Alpha 1 Mark II is still something that is a possibility. The A7 V, well, it's kind of looking like 2025. But the problem with Sony is well, it's not a problem with Sony, it's a problem with getting information and leaks from Sony, is that they do such a good job of keeping information that while Andrea Pizzini has said he doesn't see a lot happening, it doesn't mean to say we aren't going to get some sort of announcement from Sony in the next couple of weeks till the end of October, and it's certainly possible. So now if we get, let's say, not a high-end, not a high-demand camera, but a pretty solid camera announcement by Sony, and we get something by Nikon and something by Canon, that will help boost these numbers, because if we look to last year, we didn't get a lot of big announcements. Now, Canon did deliver us on some lenses, but not some camera bodies. And of course, I haven't forgotten about Panasonic. Panasonic, we've waited now, what, over 5 years, 5.5 years for any sort of refresh or hint of an S1 or S1R Mark II. And what about the S1H? Latest rumors are indicating that we could get an S1H Mark II, but here's the problem. If we don't get an announcement this fall, we're looking at now about 6 years for an announcement of the S1, S1R Mark II. And that's a really big deal. We got, I think, actually, if we go back, it was September of 2018 when Panasonic said, yes, we're announcing these cameras. And then I think it was February when they started shipping them. So we're pretty well right up against that 6-year mark, and the S1H. Panasonic is making us wait a little bit too long for these, and people are loyal to their brand, but when you make people wait 6 years, 5 years, people start to get frustrated. People were getting frustrated having to wait 4 years for the R5 Mark II. So there is one other thing, though, when it comes to these numbers. I think 2024 definitely could beat 2023, 2022, 2021, and even 2020. But 2019, that might be a tall order. It really depends on what we get announced by all those major camera manufacturers for the rest of September and October. That's where we're going to see the bulk of the announcements, and also when do they ship. If some of these start shipping in January, well, that won't help 2024 numbers. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the sales. The R5 is $29.99, the Z8, $36.96, the A7R5, $33.98, the best price we've yet to see on that camera. And there's a whole lot more sales. $35.99 for the R5C, $19.99 for the R6 Mark II, the R7's on sale, the R8's on sale, the Nikon Z7 Mark II's on sale, the Z6 Mark II's on sale, the Z8's on sale, and you can see where I'm going with this. Canon and Nikon for the past several months have had incredible sales across their lineup, with the exception of the newly announced cameras, the Z6 Mark III, and of course the R5 Mark II. Lots of sales on lenses, and we're starting to see some really big sales now, not just $100 or $200 off. These are some pretty bold sales. This will help the numbers. So if we get a bunch of good, solid camera announcements, now if we get some big ones like the R6 Mark III, we get the A7 V, then yes, I think there's no question that 2024 is going to be better than 2022 and 2023. And I personally think that we could see sales somewhere between, for the calendar year of 2024, to see sales reach between 6.4 million units at the low end to 7.5 million units at the high end. But to reach 8.4 million units, the same number of sales that we saw back in 2019, I think that's a little bit too aggressive. But again, it really depends on what cameras are announced in the next couple of weeks. I should say the next 6 weeks. So the second half of September leading up until November. And I think 6.4 to 7.5 is definitely plausible. But as far as 2019, I don't think so. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if I've been talking about camera sales in this video, and if you are interested in picking up any of the deals that I've talked about, please consider using my affiliate links in the description down below. These guys right here. The reason being is this is what keeps this channel alive, supports this channel. You still get those same prices. You don't have to put in any codes or anything else. It takes you directly to Adorama, B&H, or Amazon.com, and you get a really great deal. And by purchasing through my links, I also get a small commission or feedback that really helps support this channel. It can be anywhere from 2 to 8% back. And thank you to everybody that has used my affiliate links in the past. It's very much appreciated. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, and thank you for watching this video to the very end. I haven't published as many videos lately for a very good reason. My back has been in really bad shape to the point where I don't really want to do anything. Don't feel like going to work. Don't feel like doing anything at all. It's painful to sit. It's painful to stand. It's painful to lay down. And it's not a very good place to be. But I went to rehab yesterday and my back is sore. It's a different kind of sore, that muscle pain sore when you push yourself. I'm not feeling the same sort of tension that I was feeling throughout the week. So I'm feeling a little bit better. And when I saw this information about camera sales, I thought, what a better way to record a video on Saturday and then go ahead and get that out for you Sunday. And now what I'm going to do as I go upstairs, I'm going to check to see what my favorite channels have published. Living in Vancouver, I'm usually around 10 o'clock on a Saturday they publish a new video, but lately, perhaps it's because of back to school, their videos have been coming a little bit later in the day or even Sunday. But I'm really eager to see what Sebastian has in Living in Vancouver because you know, as much as I consider where I want to be in retirement in 4 to 6 years, Vancouver, it keeps topping the list due to the climate. And I even was talking to a gentleman about Blaine, because Blaine is so much cheaper, and that's in Washington. We could actually purchase a place, live there in the summer or in the winter, or on and off, and keep a condo in Vancouver, which is 30 minutes away, and kind of alternate between the two. And that's something I'm thinking of too. So it's really kind of hard to say, but you know what, also in the comment section down below, let me know what some of your favorite YouTube channels are outside of the camera business and why you like them. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and a great week. We'll see you again soon.